Welcome. Today, let us learn some more Excel. This comes as a part of the pre-MBA preparation series that we started on this channel recently. We completed a bit of statistics already. If you want to go from there, if you want to start there, you can go back and watch that on my channel. But if you're wanting to learn Excel, we've completed only one day of Excel before this, that is day 5. Today we are on day 6 of our preparation. So if you want to just start with Excel, you can go back one video and start there, or you can just start from here because we completed very basic stuff in the previous video. Let's start with Flashfill. This is something which I found really interesting. I've named it the smart fill of Excel because this is so amazing as a tool. Let me show you what this actually does. So you see this data, okay? Here there are a lot of different names. Here we have written only the last name of this first particular cell, okay? Now what happens if we drag this down? You see, when we drag this, you can see that it just copies the same data everywhere, but we don't want that. What we want is, we want all the last names to come on the right side. So what do? We do a flash fill. How do we do that? You see this option below this? We have to click on that and we see this option. Let's click on flash fill and you get all the last names. Let's look at one more scenario. Let's just say we write Shove. This is the first name. So it is competent and intelligent enough to understand what we really want. So if we drag this below again and then go over here and select flash fill, look, all the first names come over here. This is so interesting and so amazing. Okay, so this is the first thing that I learned today. And now let's go to the next thing, which is number formatting. Now, how do we do that? There are various kinds of formats that numbers can have on Excel. So we're going to learn that today, okay? The first thing is general. It can be general format, which is just text. The next is number. These are very simple. So the simple parts I just cover really fast actually, so that we don't waste a lot of time just covering simple things. Then the next thing is currency. So this looks like a regular number. Now, how do we make it a currency? We need to go to this particular drop down and select currency. So it converts to a particular currency. Now this is euros, okay? How do we convert this to rupees? Let's just select this, go to this drop down and select more number formats. Select on this. You will see there's this option that comes up where we can select the symbol. We can also select decimal places. You can see this 0.00. We can just cancel that. We can say we don't want any decimal places. Let's just make it 0. Also, let's change this symbol and make it rupees. Let's see, where's rupees. Let's wait. Okay, that's rupees. So that is how you change the currency and make it to your own symbol and make it to your own liking in terms of decimal places or not. Now let's go to date and time. This is also very interesting. So in this cell, if you particularly look at the data that this cell holds, it holds everything. Okay, it not only holds the date, it also holds the time, but it's formatted to only show the date. That's why it's looking like this. We can also change it. How do we change it? We have to go over here again, this drop down. It's in a date format right now, and it has intrinsically taken this. Okay, I have not put any formatting to this. It has just understood that, okay, this is a date, so we need to take it in this particular format. Let's click on short date and see. It remains the same. Okay, no problem. Let's click on long date and see. Okay, this is 14th May 2025. Let's see what we have to do if we have to show the time. We select on this, it shows the time, but this cell holds again, remember, this cell holds all the data that it needs, but it only shows a particular part of it, the part that we need. Okay, that's how date and time works. Let's go to percentage of fraction. So percentage of, it's very simple. Look, we have written here 0.34. How much is that in percentage? It is 34%. How do we do that? We go to this particular drop down, select on percentage, it's 34%. Again, if we click on the drop down and select the fraction, it becomes 1/3 because 33.333 is basically 0.34. We can say by rounding it up, and that's why they have put an estimate of this. So that is the reason. Now we have to go back to percentage like that. We can go back to a general number like that. That is how it works. Okay, let's go to scientific. What scientific? Let's click on this and let's click on scientific. Look carefully what happens. This is the exponential of the scientific format of writing the same number, which actually could be represented so easily. Okay, so if you are looking at some data which is very scientific in nature, for example, the distances of various planets from Earth, you'll find it looking like that kind of data. Okay, so we can convert it to various kinds of formats for our own utility, for calculations, etc. Now let's look at the custom. See, this custom data format, this is something like really interesting and important, but the issue is that I'm using an online Excel because I have not purchased the Microsoft 365 yet. And the reason I've not done that because once we go into college we'll get it completely for free, so why should I purchase it? But this is something which you can practice or learn from the 8th lesson of Trump Excel's playlist. So I've put the link of this playlist in the description. Go to the 8th lesson and learn this. This is extremely important for you. Okay, after this video, learn this. So this is the custom number formats, and this is also equally important. Go and learn that. We are not covering it in this video. Now let's go to formulas. Let's see what are the different things in formulas. The first thing is all formulas start with an equal to sign. So the moment we write equal to, this is how we start a formula. Okay. The next thing is the simplest form of writing a number using a formula is basically equals to some number. Let's say it's equals to 23 and we press enter. The equal to won't be shown because that's a formula. Okay. So when we press equal to 23, this just shows 23. What if we were to write 23 plus 34? It will show the addition. So because this is a formula, it can show the addition. The next thing is we can also put a text over here by simply adding two quotes, and we can write inside that something like Shavik Premier is the best YT channel. It doesn't show the quotes anymore, doesn't show the equal to sign anymore, but this is how it works. Okay. Also, once that is done, let's understand how do we use operators. What do they really mean? These are all the operators that exist. Okay, so you know all of this, but we just revise it really fast so we can basically use it in anything that we want. The first thing is summation, we know that. Then subtraction, division, multiplication, exponentiation, concatenation. What is concatenation? It's basically getting two different things and basically getting them together and showing it. I'll show you what this basically means. When we say equals, okay, what's happening? Okay, let's say equals, we say THEN, and then we say ampersand, and again write this, we say there should be a space in between, then and space, and let's say hello, and press enter. It just shows then hello. Why? Because we have concatenated these strings. The first string or the first number was then. The second thing that we wrote is a space, and the third thing is a hello. So this is a particular concatenated statement that we can put. So concatenation is basically mixing two things together or putting two things, three things together and showing them at once. Okay, that is what concatenation means. The next thing is equal to, which you understand. These are being used as true and false statements. Okay, so for example, we say that equals, let's say we ask if 54 is equal to 23. It's false, right? So it will show false. But if we write 54 is equal to 54, it is true. So it will show it's true. Similarly, we can say 54 is greater than 54. It will show false. But is 54 greater than 23? It is true. So that is how these work. Okay. The same things over here: equals, greater than, equals, less than equals, and not equals. So these are all the operators that we can use on Excel. The next thing is operator order precedence. So for example, if you write a big formula, how do we understand really in which order does the formula get executed? Because we want a desired answer. How do we do that? We understand the order of precedence. This is the order of precedence. Do one thing, okay? Do one thing. Take a screenshot of this particular window, and this will give you, and keep it on your phone. Look at it once or twice, and you will get all the data that you need, or all the the muscle memory that you need to understand what's the order of preference, what are the different operations that you can do. Just look at it 2 or 3 times, you will be sorted for now. The next thing is using functions as a beginner. How do we do that? There are many ways to do this actually. We can just write equals and start with the function name. But if you do not know the names, then you might have to use this particular command, that is shift plus F3. So if we press on the keyboard shift and then F3, there's a dialog box that opens up, and here we have many different kinds of functions. We can also try to search for functions. For example, you have to search for average. Let's write average. So we have all the different functions that start with the letter average. So we can test out these, play around with these and look at it. You can do that in your own time. I'm doing this in my own time as well. Anyways, right now we don't need this. We have to just understand that this is how we start as a beginner. The simple functions that are important for us right now is equal to summation, then for example rounding up, then there is average. These are very, very simple functions that we can use, and we can start our journey on Excel. Okay, we come to the last part for today, which is cell referencing. This is extremely, extremely important, and we have not learned this before. Generally, people don't know about this. So pay attention, we learn this today. The first thing over here is there are 3 data points over here. Okay, let's put a formula over here. Okay, let's say it is equals to this particular cell, and let's press enter. So this shows the formula, but what happens if we copy this cell and paste it over here? It shows 0. Why does this show 0 when we've just copied and pasted it? It shows 0 because this is representing C8. Why? Because this particular, let's press enter, this particular cell was a X number of cells above, like below this particular data. So this particular cell is X number of cells below this cell. So what that does is it's just relative to different cells. Let's again try with something else. Let's say there is 10 over here, and we say this cell is equals to this cell. So it also shows 10. But if we copy this, let's just put more data away. This is 20, this is 30, this is 40. Okay. Let's drag this below. See, it goes relative. This is called relative referencing. Why? Because it's relative to the position. So if we have said this is equal to this cell, then this cell will be equal to this cell. This will be equal to this cell. Understood? Now let's understand what is absolute referencing. Absolute referencing is this is not relative anymore. If we copy and paste it over here, we want this to also reference the same cell that we have copied. How do we do that? Let's see. For example, this is equal to C5. Instead of C5, what we will write over here is $C, $5. This is the symbol that we use for absolute referencing. Why $C? $C basically means that we want the particular column to be constant and we don't want it to change. It should be absolute. And $5 means you want also the row to be constant. Make sense? So when we press enter, it again shows 10. But now if we copy this and paste this over here, it again shows 10. It doesn't show a 0 or something else. Why? Because it's $. Dollar means it is absolute. Now, what if we have something mixed? How to put a mixed reference? We just remove $. From one of these cells, that is one of the row or the column, and we say, okay, keep the column constant, but the row make it relative. So this is how basically the relative, absolute and fixed referencing works. So that's all for today, guys. We've completed from lecture 7 to lecture 9. That is 3 lectures, 7, 8 and 9. And I'll meet you tomorrow with more studies on Excel, with more things to learn, more exciting things to do. So yeah, Namaskaram. See you.